Hi everyone, my name is Charlie and today I have my June wrap-up. The first book that I read was all new, all different Avengers, The Magnificent Seven. If I could throw this book out of a window without considering the price I spent on it, I would freely do so. This book is an unutterable mess. I understand that there was this big Marvel event that saw all these universes collide and Marvel decided to pick and choose who they thought were the best characters. But really, was it anything more than a moneymaker? This book doesn't seem to follow any sort of plotline at all, and I understand that it's this comic book and that there were loads of different comics within the series, and it's great what it's trying to do, but it fails in every corner. The artwork is kind of okay, but I only bought this book for Miss Marvel because I believe that she is a brilliant superhero and I've really enjoyed the comics of hers that I've read before. And I used to enjoy reading the Avengers when I was younger, but I'm not one of these people who tries to recapture their youth. At least I don't think I'm one of these people that tries to recapture their youth. And I just thought this book was bullshit, basically. The hop-along began at the end of May. Therefore, I continued to read the book. The first book was Assassin's Apprentice. This introduces us to the world of the Farseers, the realm of the Elderlings. And in this book we are introduced to Fitz, who is the royal bastard. His father then abdicates the throne and he never meets his father. This book reminded me so much of Harry Potter, and I do believe that this book influenced my rereading of Harry Potter because it made me miss Hogwarts. It was just so stupendous and I really loved the world of Bookkeep and I enjoyed the characters immensely. This book was very much a coming-of-age novel, and if you look at it in terms of the other books in the series, you can understand Hobbs' reasoning for keeping this book as short as she did and still managing to inhabit the characters so well. This book employs concision and brevity so fantastically, and Hobb is such an eloquent writer, and it was brilliant to read her craft. And I do have a full review of this book which I will link down below. But needless to say, I thought this book was amazing. It followed the heroic narrative quite well, and I was completely enthralled and willing to invest myself into another however many thousands of books there are. Then we had Royal Assassin, the second book in the trilogy, and by far my favourite book of the trilogy. We are returned to the world of Fitz. Fitz is a lot older than he seems to have been in the first book. He has gone through a lot more. The consequences of the climax of the first book are felt throughout this book. Hobb does not forget what happened in the first book, and it is a brilliant book to read, and it's brilliant to see Hobb test her character so well. All of the consequences and the events in this book feel like they would actually happen and that they are the actual consequences of prior events. So when one character does something, there is no not thinking about what you do. Every single action has to be thought, and every action within this book has a reaction, and it was just brilliant to read and stands out for me as the best book within the series. And it also introduced again a wolfish friend who I'm quite fond of. The final book in the trilogy is Assassin's Quest, and although this is again a brilliant writer and the fantasy and a great addition to the fantasy genre, this is my least favourite book in the series. I do believe that Hobb could have removed a fair amount from this novel, and I'm just hoping that some of it is going to actually mean something in later books, but for now a lot of this book just felt needless and felt like Hobb was just taking us through this journey. And I understood where Fitz was at the start of this book, and I understood why we had to have certain things happening at the start of the book, but I also did believe there was a lot of needless stuff happening, and a lot of the actions seemed to repeat themselves. And again, in my head, I can kind of quantify it and make sense of it and try and see what Hob was doing, but a lot of the time it just droned on a bit, and it was a bit of a slog to get through. And although I was happy with how the book ended, I could not help but feel like it was rushed, because you had 600 pages there where everything was moving so slowly. You were wading through fucking treacle to get anywhere. And then you had the climax happen like that. It was like you'd spent no time at all in this book so suddenly, and maybe you were meant to feel like this, but I don't know. We shall see. If you've read any of these books and wish to discuss them, do please come and comment, and until next time, that is all.